The rights of the American public, are one of those considerations. And as you both had mentioned, all of the technical, legal, compliance, sort of considerations, simply passing one of these laws, does not mean that it's all going to work overnight. There's a lot of work to be done behind the scenes to actually implement something like this. Do I believe that TikTok is being used to spy on the American public? As Taylor said, I have to say, in my opinion, yes. I do believe that is the case. I think that the data, the evidence, that exists backs that up. Interesting enough, a case emerged this week of a former executive, a gentleman named Yin Tao Yu, who was employed in 2017 and 2018 by ByteDance US, who says that, he has knowledge that the Chinese Communist Party had supreme access through a backdoor to TikTok, all TikTok data, including U.S. data, and in fact that the CCP had a unit stationed in ByteDance's, Chinese offices there to help guide and steer the company, as well as collect that data and do whatever they're doing with it now. These claims and Yin Tao Yu's lawsuit against ByteDance US, of course, his employment was 5 years ago. ByteDance, in the last 12 to 18 months, has worked with the FTC to make sure that all U.S. TikTok user data is routed within the U.S. The challenge is there is still potential evidence that that some of that data is being exfiltrated back to China still, and that's where the situation gets sticky. And ByteDance has not been super cooperative yet with the FTC on that front, and that has prompted the federal government and state governments to scrutinize TikTok to a much greater degree.
Earl, I just want to clarify for our listeners, ByteDance owns TikTok.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So if we now know it's banned in Montana, the governor signing the legislation officially banning TikTok. Look, are there workarounds for this stuff? I wouldn't know how to work around it. I'm not experienced at technology that way, but
kids are.
Yeah, kids are. To Taylor's point.
How easy are these workarounds, Earl?
There absolutely are workarounds, and of course, I want to be responsible in the information that I provide, because some of the workarounds can be used for malicious or nefarious purposes, right? But and in terms of the ease of use, there are some of them that are easy. Some of them do require a more complex technical skill set. But those include Tor browsers, using proxy servers, what are called SSH tunnels, and VPNs, which is probably the easiest thing here that many people are familiar with already and might use.
We saw here in Utah just a couple weeks ago new legislation restricting access to adult content websites went into effect. The very day, Debbie, we saw a huge spike in online searches for VPNs.
Which is what would help people work around this. So I guess why I'm saying this, Earl, is just because a state bans a social media app doesn't mean our kids won't be able to download it or access it through other means.
Yeah, no, I would say that most youth or 20-somethings understand what a VPN what a VPN app is and know how to use it. So it's definitely not a guarantee.
And just real quickly, my understanding of how a VPN works is it makes it appear that the device is being used in yet a totally different part of the world or the country, other than this place you're actually in. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Earl.
Yeah, and in fact, most of those applications you can choose where you want to appear to be accessing from, right? From a different country, a different state. So yes, it's a way to spoof the system and show up as if you're accessing from a different location.
Which makes me wonder if bans really work at all. Earl Foote, IT expert with Nexus IT, thank you so much for walking us through your concerns about the app as well as the possibility that this new law won't really do anything at all.
Yeah, what I think is interesting about Montana, Debbie, is compared to Utah, here in Utah, we are focusing on the mental health and safety of kids in Utah.
Yes.
In Montana, they're focused on national security, communism, and China. It's almost a little bit nationalistic. It's a very different approach to banning social media.
I want to ask our listeners to chime in. 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. Do you feel like Utah should be next? Or is the idea of a workaround just a really big waste of time? And this is a parent issue. This is a kitchen table issue where we talk to our kids on a regular basis and we don't rely on government bans to help us parent.
Yeah.
801-575-TALK. Should Utah do what Montana did, and instead of just going through the